energy is cheaper than it's been in the last 5 years, but you wouldn't be able to tell if you looked at your household bills. Look, the story here is that wholesale gas and wholesale electricity prices have hit a 5-year low. You should be getting better prices, but you're not. In fact, none of the big 6 energy companies have cut their costs yet. They are coming under increasing pressure to pass on their savings to you, the customer, but they just seem to be very reluctant. Why don't you ask for a discount? Because that seems to be the only way. Well, let's talk to Jonathan Davis, who's an economist and wealth manager from Hertfordshire and owns Jonathan Davis Wealth Management. Jonathan, good afternoon to you, bruv.
Hello, mate.
Jonathan, look, we see oil prices coming down globally, and you hear they're reporting on the news. Cost of a barrel of oil is down. I think that must be good news, but it isn't necessarily, is it?
Well, it should be for consumers and for small businesses. The price of oil on the world stage in the summer of 2014 was $110 a barrel. It's now $30 a barrel, an absolute collapse in the price of oil, and that is replicated, as you say, in other energy, such as gas. So why has Ofgem, the regulator of home power, heat and light, why have they let the energy providers get away with not passing on those massive savings that the energy companies have made?
Well, they don't seem to have any teeth. The regulators, Jonathan, regulators don't seem to have any teeth. No power.
The thing is, they have loads of power, but they don't exert it. Or if they do, they don't exert it on behalf of the people they're apparently representing, which is the users, the consumers, the customers. We see it in financial regulation, and here we're seeing it in energy regulation. And there's a great problem of revolving doors between bureaucrats who work for these regulators, then going to work for the companies that they were previously regulating. That's an issue which has to be addressed.
Okay. Can I just ask you about the cost of the barrel of oil, which we see it reported on news bulletins, and it's fantastic. And we've been rejoicing for the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've been paying 99p a litre for petrol and now for diesel oil, which is great compared to what we were paying 18 months ago. But actually, the price should be a lot lower. And that should be great news. But what's the long-term effect, Jonathan, of this cost of oil at $30? I'm thinking, hang on a minute, that can't be good for Saudi Arabia.
Okay, well, the price of oil has gone down, 70%, but the price of fuel at the pumps has only gone down 20 or 25%, is because 75% of what we pay, 75 pence in the pound, is tax. So that's worth making clear. No, indeed, it's having a heck of an effect detrimentally on the big oil-producing nations. As you say, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, right across the Middle East. Russia is, in fact, the largest producer of oil in the world. Saudi Arabia is now number 2. America is number 2 or number 3. So right across the world, companies and countries are having a terrible time economically. And I dare say this is one of the reasons why there is such large problems, for want of a better phrase, in the Middle East now, because these guys are bankrupting themselves.
You often talked about the impending doom and gloom, the collapse of the world economy and the problems that could arise, and we've all kind of questioned perhaps your thinking on this. But the dollar is not known as the petrodollar for no reason. Could this be a complete, a major headache for the global economy?
Well, absolutely. I mean, you don't have a collapse in the price of oil because James Bond villain types are affecting the price of oil. On the contrary, it's because the global economy is using less oil. And if we're using less oil, which we clearly are, there's no question about that, it means there is global economic slowdown. And although we in Britain, we apparently have not seen it much yet, what I'm saying publicly is that In 2014, we had just over 3% growth. Last year, just over 2% growth. And this year, if we're lucky, it'll be about 1% growth. But actually, I think we're likely to head for a recession. And if you think about the big picture, Rob, mate, and I do not say this lightly, if for the last 40 years, every time there's been a recession, the powers that be have cut interest rates to try and get the economy going again.
Hang on, and I know the answer to this. They can't do that. I mean, even today, they kept the rates at a record low.
And that's what they've done. For now, it's getting on for 7 years, or it will be in 6 weeks' time. 7 years at 0.5%. Now, some of your older listeners will scoff at that, thinking about their 15 and 18% mortgages 30 or 40 years ago. The point is they can never slash interest rates again in a recession, and that's why it strikes me, unfortunately, that what's going to happen is we're going to have 2008 all over again.
And can I ask you, Jonathan?
It's going to be very difficult.
But with the price of oil, will it stay at that sort of level for a while? I mean, should I be looking at exchanging mark for a nice big V8 Mercedes?
That, of course, puts us in the realms of prophesizing. The markets have been consistently, the market pundits, have been consistently wrong on the price of oil. When it was 110, they said it's going to go to 150. When it was 90, they said it's a good buy. When it was 60, they said it's a steal. And now that it's 30, they're saying it's going down to 10 or 15. What I'm seeing in the daily pricing of oil is that actually at about $30, we're probably towards the bottom. However, I wouldn't expect for the long term it to get above much more than 50 or 60. Jonathan. So oil is not going to go up much.
Jonathan, thank you. Jonathan Davis, economist and wealth manager.